What do I even say to Animaniacs? No, really. What do I even say? It's one of my all-time favorite shows that I ever watched as a kid. And when the actual series started coming out by Warner Home Video when I was like 10 years old, I wanted to get every single one of the box sets. And of course, as of right now, I'm slowly getting them. I mean, I've owned the first volume since it first came out, but most recently this year I actually own the second volume as of right now. But as of 2016, something very special happened. Animaniacs came to Netflix. So it actually somewhat makes things a bit easier to watch a lot of the episodes up on this channel to make things a bit easier, you know? And the episodes that we're going to be talking about, of course, is that of, well, we're going to be talking about the Animaniacs Christmas episodes. 'Twas the Day Before Christmas, Chicken Boo, where he disguises himself as a Santa Claus. See, there are other ones, but I forget a lot of them. Christmas Plots, Little Drummer Warner, and of course, The Christmas Tree. Not to be confused with the really bad and really badly acted animated short from who knows when. So, 'twas the day before Christmas. It's obviously a spin on the 'twas the night before Christmas. And the whole story is told in rhymes as the Warner Brothers expect, you know, the guests expect the arrival of Santa Claus, played by, you know, the security guard Ralph. It's funny to see Ralph actually do something in the show. And pretty much he plays himself seriously in a lot of the episodes, if I recall correctly, when he's supposed to chase down the Warner Brothers. But in some of the episodes he is like dumb. Like really, really dumbed down, especially in like the two Christmas episodes. Like he's basically a dumb Santa Claus in the short. It's funny, it's ridiculous, but it's a special kind of funny. Then the other one is that of, you know, Santa Boo. Or was it Boo Claus? No, wait. Jingle Boo, that's it. Jingle Boo is the next short in this lineup. In Jingle Boo, our main character here, who basically dresses up in many disguises, acting as a human, poses as Santa Claus for a department store parody of Macy's. But, of course, being the typical Chicken Boo episodes, it doesn't go over very well. And then there are some songs in there, like a parody of Singing in the Rain, Slipping on the Ice, and then a very special, I think, reappearance of the song Yakko's Universe, which, even though it's been a long time since I still, like, remember the songs, or since I remember the song, it's still catchy to remember the, you know, the Animaniac tune. I still, like, at times find myself, like, humming it. That's how memorable Animaniacs is. The other one we got next is A Christmas Plots. You know, it's a classic spin on A Christmas Carol. Except Plotz is the main character of this. And it's being shown by the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, played by Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. That if he doesn't change his ways, suddenly his past is going to be a living nightmare. Or at least his future is going to be a nightmare. It's a fun short, and definitely one. There's only many times I could say that. Like, I love the many spins on this. Definitely how they poke fun at, like, the story. There's like so many moments in like in that segment where they poke fun at like Christmas Carol, and how sometimes a lot of the characters can be like dummies in it. Like they point out probably when Plotz goes out to ask the Warners what day is it, they're like, "It's Christmas!" Wow, dumber than advertised. It's funny, but it's also one of Dot's catchphrases. And another funny thing is that they poke fun at, like, even the future when, Ralph's son becomes the head CEO. There's, like, a joke about Jaleel White still playing, the character that he plays on Family Matters, Urkel White. Not Urkel White, that's not his full name. Urkel from Family Matters. And I'll be honest, I have not seen Family Matters. I've only seen clips here and there of his role as Family Matters. But the only thing I've seen of him, of Jaleel White's acting, is that of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's it. But the fact that they would make fun of him, like, basically having his pants pulled up so high, that's just too funny. Like, I get a lot of the jokes from Animaniacs just because, well, I'm a film historian, but also I try to study up on a lot of, like, stuff that I've never even watched before. Like one of the movies upcoming, I'm trying to study on, what is it? Christmas in Connecticut, 1947, but I'm also trying to look on information up on Singing in the Rain, which is one of my few favorite musicals of all time. There's a lot of funny things in this to poke fun at, which can be said for the last episode of Animaniacs, which for some reason is included as Volume 1, which has 65 episodes. But anywho, Little Drummer Warners. A parody of the Little Drummer Boy as, the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister, visit, the baby Jesus. And of course, as Wacko winds up playing on the drums, it suddenly turns into a jazzy beat. Again, still in the style of the humor that the show is in. Taking something that's supposed to be serious, but also bringing in something still perfect in and of itself. I think out of all of this, I'd say that either, like, Little Drummer Warner or, like, Christmas Plots was, like, one of my favorites out of the original VHS that I had when I was young. And if you're wondering, yes, this was the actual VHS I did own. This isn't like another copy or whatever. Again, fun episode. Definitely like it overall. The other one we have is obviously Noel, which is just the Animaniacs, our characters here singing just how you're supposed to spell properly, and they're just using no L into every single one of the verses. And it's not even Christmas related in any way whatsoever. It's so bizarre, but so hilarious at the same time. The other final one that's on this is the Christmas tree. Again, no relation to that bizarre, like, out of this world special that I took a look at in 2014 and the Nostalgia Critic took a look at. In that short, excuse me, in that short segment, Slappy's tree is cut from the forest and delivered to Rockefeller Center to be lit up in New York City for the annual, like, Christmas tree that they decide to decorate. At first you may think, like, Slappy may have probably noticed by the time her tree probably moved over, by the time the tree's probably knocked down or moved over, or like when they start decorating. But she doesn't notice until the tree's actually there in Rockefeller Center, as everyone's like there. She treats it as if it's like everyone's in the forest or whatever. It isn't until like the middle of the short that she finds out that her tree, they're actually in New York, and that the man responsible is the one who owns Rockefeller Center. It's funny, and the way that she gets even in a lot of these shorts is, I don't want to give it away, but it's funny. And it's a good simple revenge story for any simple revenge that Slappy does to any simple character. And in any creative style, it's in the spirit of Slappy Squirrel cartoons. Overall, Animaniacs definitely has a lot of sense of humor that I definitely would have loved to watch when it came out, and I would have loved to own all the DVDs when they first came out on DVD. Like I said, I only own the first volume, but now thanks to Netflix, I have all of the DVDs. Not all the DVDs, all of the episodes up here. And maybe sometime down the line in 2017, maybe after I finish Star Trek Next Generation, I might take a look at, finally, all the episodes of Animaniacs. Again, who knows? Maybe now that I'm sorta kinda in the animation spirit, maybe afterwards I could perhaps take a look at, I don't know, Rugrats, or, what would be good for this? Rugrats, Malcolm in the Middle, Berenstain Bears Christmas Tree? What would be good for this? Both? Both. Yeah, both. Both. Yeah, just keep it here and we'll discuss those specials. So, Berenstain Bears Christmas Tree. It's been a long time since I took a look at this special. How long? Really can't say. I've lost track of time with this one. But I watched this one when I was really, really, really young. And I think the last time was once in middle school when I was transferring it to a DVD or something. I don't know. But the thing has been out on DVD like numerous times. But the thing was an NBC special from 1979. But it's been out on home video numerous times by a lot of people. NBC Home Video, not to be confused with NBC. It's also been out by Kid Classics, then Good Times Entertainment, and then the final one being Sony Wonder. So, honestly, this thing has had a lot of releases. And so far, I don't even know who holds the rights to this. Whether it be the people who own the Bernstein Bears, Stan and Jan, or their son, or the makers of it, or Sony. Or even HBO for that matter, because the last time I tried to watch it, like a couple of years ago, they took it down for some reason. But anywho, let's talk about the special. So in this, Papa Q Bear is trying to get himself a Christmas tree for, the family. And it's gonna be a very hard hunt for, all of them, because hunting a Christmas tree, especially on Christmas Eve, is not a very easy task. And besides that, usually with last-minute shopping, you're knowing that something is bound to happen. But as soon as Papa Q Bear and Papa Q Bear takes Brother and Sister Bear out to the forest to go and find an authentic pine tree for them to get, the Christmas decorations. They encounter the trees that Papa wants to have for the home, but he's sort of in that mindset of wanting to get a tree that he forgets about the fact that there's people, that there's animals living in those trees. Everything you name it. Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, owls, everything. Eagles, they're everywhere. As of course Papa tries to, as the snow drips down and Brother and Sister Bear freeze off and Pa reaches the final tree, that's when he comes across snowbirds that look like the whole family, like Mama and Papa and Brother and Sister Bear. And they're, the snowbirds are all setting up the Christmas tree, and of course they wish Papa Q Bear a Merry Christmas. From there, that's where he learns the true meaning of Christmas, as they head down the hill to try to get a tree from a lot, but unfortunately all the trees are gone as they return home in despair. But because of the kindness that the three of them have set to the forest creatures, they in return decorate their house in all of the Christmas decorations. And everyone in the village basically admires the whole house, and in the end they all sing a song. Well, at least the animals and the bear family sing a song in the end, and they eat the fish in the end. Eat fish for dinner. And that's where the special ends. Where do I even begin to say, the interesting things about Bernstein Bear's Christmas tree? Well, it was interesting going back to the fact that the songs in it are catchy. But then again, this was before the 1985 TV series that came on Saturday mornings. And the other specials that I think came on that time, I think, was Christmas Tree, Big Paw, Easter Surprise, Comic Valentine, Play Ball, And then that led up to the 1985 Berenstain Bears show. Then, yeah, that was it for the specials. As far as I know, this thing is not out on Blu-ray. Only the Sony DVDs are out. And as for the, I'm getting off topic. As for everything else, there was, like, one of the moments I actually did like from the specials as well. What was it, from the special, there was, you know, where the eagle just swoops in and just plucks the this basically, takes the fingers off of the axe off Papa Q Bear and basically flings it at him, telling them that they don't want their tree chopped down. Like, that was like, I really liked that joke. And another funny thing was, as soon as he picked up the axe and went into the sky, it suddenly turned into the U.S. seal. Like the EPSU something. Like the U.S. seal, whatever it was. That was pretty funny. I laughed at it when I was young, and I still laughed at it when I saw it today. It's a pretty funny gag. I will admit that much. And it's still something I will watch and probably will show to my cousins or somebody if they're over, if they're wanting to talk about, like, nostalgic somethings, like Christmas specials or something they haven't seen before. Maybe I might pop this one in. So, that basically sums up my opinions on Christmas Tree. Though it's limited in its animation, almost like Charlie Brown Christmas, it still has its own style and a unique taste that, in my opinion, it's fun in a style that you can enjoy with your family and have a sense of being one of the funnest shows that you can watch around the holiday season. It's just, overall, one of the best Christmas episodes of Berenstain Bears possible. And if you're wondering, no, I have not seen the Berenstain Bears 2003 series. You don't need to ask me that, because I like the 1985 series fair enough. Which somebody needs to get that out on DVD already. So this is the Santa experience from Rugrats. Now, as a kid, there were many shows that I grew up with on Nickelodeon. SpongeBob, 90s Nick cartoons on Nicktoons Network, and of course, Rugrats. Because when it came to any Nick show, Rugrats is just about on that list. And nowhere is the crowning achievement of any Christmas special well worth it than that of the Santa experience. And the last time I saw this was actually surprisingly in 2014, but if you want to get into the technical aspect, the aspect of it was second grade, I think, when my teacher actually, ended up showing a bunch of whatevers. Like, she'd, show us, Nickelodeon cartoons or movies up on the TV or whatever. Didn't really matter what we were watching. And turns out that one of the specials that we were watching was that of Rugrats, the Santa Experience. And it was actually good reliving Rugrats again, because Rugrats is a fun show. It takes a novel concept of what is the world like to a baby, and or at least, what if babies could talk? And if so, what would they say or what would they think? And takes that into a very interesting analysis and an interesting concept. I mean, it was one of the biggest episodes. It had a big episode count before it was beaten out by SpongeBob SquarePants. Had the most amount of movies, at least until SpongeBob SquarePants beats it out, and has a spin-off show all grown up. Now, as for the episode here, Santa Experience, and the parents decide to take all the kids up to the cabin in the woods, not a horror story, to an actual literal cabin for Christmas. And they'll stay there for literally Christmas Eve and day, cutting down their own trees and doing everything authentically to the holiday. And of course, as Angelica is getting this idea, she decides to pull this almost gift of the Magi idea on Phil and Lil by giving them 2 presents that she got from the department store after she wound up exposing the department store Santa in front of the masses of children, which I don't think would ever be pulled off, at least in today's situation. But what winds up happening is that as soon as Tommy's grandfather, I forget his name, tells the actual story of Santa Claus and how if you be good and you don't do if you be good and don't do anything bad, you'll get presents, but if you do anything bad, you'll get a lump of coal. It's suddenly against the clock that Angelica has to do something at the last minute to try to change out the presents for Phil and Lil before it's too late. After, Angelica has a dream of Santa delivering her nothing but coal. And it's actually kind of... I like the way they portray Santa in this, both in the dream that Angelica has and, of course, in the actual ending of it. But they do make it to the cabin, and, of course, while Tommy and Chucky are trying to figure out a way how to capture the actual Santa Claus, we see that Angelica is, trying to think of ways of trying to switch out the presents, but unfortunately, she gets caught in every turn, whether being bundled up while they're going out to chop down the tree, or, of course, being interrupted or whether the parents are just neglectful about her situation and feel like they're just going out for whether Angelica's actually good, when in most of the episodes she is a complete, not gonna even curse here, a complete jerk. But in the end, the Santa Claus actually does come into the cabin and delivers everybody their gifts, and Angelica gets the gift that she wanted, and the Phil and Lo gets their little presents that Angelica basically magi'd them. But of course, after finding out and learning basically a lesson in the end, she essentially gives them the presents that they traded for Phil and Lil, and of course everything winds up perfect in the end. Except the fact that Angelica basically has a little slight lump of coal inside the garage. And that's where the episode ends, and probably where I'll most likely conclude today's 28-day, where I'll conclude today's marathon. I know it's a bit of a cop-out to try to do only Santa experience and not Babies in Toyland, but don't you worry, I will take a look at Babies in Toyland at another time during this marathon. Which also reminds me, I gotta go to the public library to pick up the copy of Tokyo Godfathers that I got on hold. So that'll be there waiting for me to be a part of this marathon. And while we're on the subject of things being a part of the marathon, I gotta get everything set up for Joe X Noel to, get everything here for the marathon and get all the presents wrapped up and sent out to my uncles and aunts and cousins in all over the U.S. because I don't have any cousins across the country, or at least across the landscape of Canada, or I'm pointing north here, in Canada or Europe or Japan. I should say Far East. But essentially that's about it for the marathon. We just gotta find the time to wrap the presents and make the final touches on setting up Christmas in the home. And from there on, I think we're good. So, I guess from there, that concludes today. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. And if you have any requests, just a reminder, comment down below for a request. And if you do receive a confused comment from me, keep in mind, I'm receiving all of these notification of comments through the YouTube Studio app on my phone, because YouTube is a complete and utter turd head as of this year when it comes to comment systems. So, with that in mind, hope you enjoyed today's episode. Have any requests, comment down below, and you will be featured in that said video if you do. So, with that in mind, see you guys tomorrow for the all-new, whatever I'm reviewing for tomorrow. See ya.